Good Friday morning, everyone. My name is Oliver Francis here at the Exponent, talking with East Grand Forks High speech and debate coach Tanner Miller about the performance of two of his outstanding students at nationals down in Dallas, Texas. So, why don't you just kind of go ahead and just talk about how each of your students did, then we'll go from there.
Caitlin Van Beek and Nathaniel Thompson both went down to Dallas, Texas for the national tournament. Caitlin, in her event, Informative Speaking, finished in the top 30 in the nation, which is hands down a East Grand Forks school record for placements. And then Nathaniel Thompson didn't quite make it to break in either one of his events. However, in extemporaneous speaking, that category is incredibly difficult to try and move forward in, as there are a lot of kids around the nation that pay very, very close attention to things that are going on, and that is a difficult break to have to face, but a break that we faced.
Understood. And what were some of your favorite moments from the tournament? They can be favorite speeches from either one of them, favorite speech you heard from somewhere else. Any just favorite moments from being there as a coach and kind of seeing everything?
I unfortunately didn't get to see either one of them speak. We kind of had an unwritten rule that we just wouldn't go in there and watch either one of them, in fear that it would be the one round that they ended up tanking. So we opted to just not watch either Nathaniel or Caitlin speak ever. We did stay and watch the programmed oral interpretation final before we hit the road, and that was pretty intense. There were two students from down in the cities area that made it to the national stage there in the top 6 speakers. So that was pretty impressive, and kind of just, again, shined light on the competitive nature that is Minnesota speech. And other than that, I mean, just the excitement waiting to see the breaks, and just the high emotions that were always kind of just ever present for us to have to be facing.
I know we kind of discussed it a few minutes before. Talk about roughly about where the fundraising efforts ended and however close you guys got to your goal, and just what having all that fundraising help kind of meant for Nate and KVB.
We ended up raising $2,855, which helped us immensely. Our hotel costs alone were pretty close to that, so it ended up covering our hotels, and so we really are only too concerned now with having to, face the fact that we paid for gas to get down there. But that's a completely different issue entirely. So we had a huge outreach from a lot of the community, and so that was incredibly just wonderful.
I know a lot of people in the community reach out. Does anyone? It can be for amount of donation. It can be for any reason. Do any community members or businesses kind of stand out to you guys for their support?
We had quite a few different businesses. There were a few members of our school administration that individually ended up donating to us. And all in all, we had, I want to say, close to maybe 15 individual businesses that actually reached out to us themselves. So every single one of them, no matter what amount that they donated, helped us immensely, because that was an extra, however much that we didn't have to be concerned about them.
Definitely, 100% agree with you there. What were some of your favorite memories just from the trip down there? Maybe some things that you guys did away from the tournament. And Texas is a wonderful state, and Dallas is a pretty cool city. So,
well, and I believe you. The unfortunate part is we didn't get a whole lot of adventuring time.
Right.
Typically, we would be getting to the venue for the competition at 6:30 to be there an hour early, because it was a huge competition. So we had to get ourselves, set up with a table. So we had somewhere to be at, as our home base for the day, before every table was taken. And then, we're there at 6 a.m. We're leaving at about 6:30 p.m. A 12-hour day got pretty long, so we would typically go back to the hotel and fall asleep. I can speak for Joe Kalka and myself. Our hotel was at least pretty interesting. But we didn't really get to do a whole lot of sightseeing ourselves. I know the Van Beeks and the Thompsons went out for a day and got to see the city. But
that's awesome. Yeah. What was it like being in? I think there was a tornado warning, or there was.
Yeah.
What was it like being in Dallas for one of those?
It was fantastic. We were in the safest spot possible. We were on the 36th floor of a hotel, right next to some windows. And luckily, we were in downtown Dallas, so I wasn't too concerned about it. High winds, I don't really foresee a tornado touching down right in the center of a city. So there was that at least. So I was in a pretty calm state of mind.
Definitely. What were, just as a coach, what were some learning experiences that you're going to take away from this experience and bring forward to the team next year?
Honestly, seeing the hard work that Nathaniel and Caitlin put in really shows that that's what it takes for really anyone else on our team or anyone else like in our area to be able to make it to a competition like this. Because it's all around too possible for us to go again. And I think it's too possible for us to go again for us to then become lax in the way that we approach this program. And so we will have in this learning experience, we learned that pushing forward, we need to make sure that this team is incredibly competitive, that we are pushing all of our students to their absolute maximum to make sure that we can keep the legacy of East Grand Forks speech alive.
Definitely, 100% agree with you there. Can you speak to, I know you mentioned members of the administration donated to you individually, but can you speak sort of institutionally to what support EGF Senior High and the school district has given you guys just throughout the year, whether it be time to practice, place to practice, just anything in general? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, really all of the East Grand Forks Senior High School staff really are a huge support system. For me personally, with it being my first year, there was a bit of a learning curve for me walking into it. I'm moderately embarrassed to admit that there was a lot of questions that I had to ask almost daily for those first few weeks, and the entirety of the administration staff were very understanding, very much so helpful, answer these questions not in any way that would be conceived as being malicious or anything like that. They were incredibly helpful and kind, and so really the entirety of the administration. I can thank, I guess, personally, for helping in this transition that I then had to,
Makes complete sense. So your two students that made it to nationals, why don't you talk about the legacy that KVB leaves for the program, and you talk about how this experience you think will help Nate grow into even more of a leadership role as he enters into his senior year next year.
Okay, I'll start with Nate. For him, he ended up doing his extemporaneous speaking, and then his second event being impromptu at this competition. And we spoke to him about it quite a bit, because obviously he has a chance next year to then try to make it to nationals for a second time. And after speaking with him, basically what we learned is that moving forward, just putting in that extra effort every single time that you have the chance to is what got him there, and what he thinks can help him move forward from where he made it at this last competition. As far as Caitlin, she was, just all around over these years that she has been in speech, has learned quite a bit. She's developed her speaking ability, her ability to be able to speak in front of an audience in general, as well as her just ability to do research into just about any topic. And so with that, she has a huge advantage moving forward into any type of career path that she ends up deciding to take, as well as just moving into college, being able to do these research papers, so on and so forth. So there's massive benefits that I think each one of them have taken away from both the program and this experience.
Absolutely wonderful to hear. And going forward, to kind of wrap things up here, for any freshmen incoming freshmen, coming to senior high next year, why should they consider, they have so many things they can do, why should they consider speech and debate?
Well, for all these incoming freshmen, a lot of you will have heard me say this in your English classes just this last year, and Mr. Green has definitely harped on it as well, but the fact of the matter is, at some point in your life, you're going to have to talk to another individual, whether it's an interview, whether it's a job interview, or it's asking for a pay raise because, darn it, you've earned it. And the skills that you learn in our speech program really help you harness that and give you the ability to move forward with the personal speaking skills, the public speaking skills necessary for you to succeed in any profession moving forward. Because no matter what your job is, no matter what career path you choose to take, at some point talking to another person and explaining something is probably going to happen.
Definitely would agree with you there. When does the club like when do activities kind of with the club start back up for anyone interested in learning more, and where would they find you?
Well, I will leave my email with you guys to just link underneath this video, as it's just too complicated to just say out loud, unfortunately. But we are probably going to be planning some type of a summer workshop for the students that are returning,
Okay.
just to kind of get script ideas started up. Hopefully in August is the planned time frame for that. And then moving forward, we usually start having soft practices starting up in around November, and then competition and things like that start around January. So,
Awesome. Absolutely wonderful to hear. First, absolutely, we're all absolutely proud of the success of Caitlin Van Beek and Nate Thompson. And secondly, we at the Exponent would like to thank all of the businesses and people that helped donate and help make sure you guys were able to get to and from Dallas. And third, Nate, thank you absolutely for this. Excuse me, Coach Tanner. Sorry. Thank you for this absolutely wonderful chance to kind of learn more about your story and the story of your team. And best of luck in the future.
thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, not a problem.